Hi everybody! Welcome to CecelyV Art and how to create your own art reference boards. This is a method I couldn't find anywhere in a Google search, so I decided to make a video about it myself. Artists use reference all the time, so knowing how to make your own board is very helpful. First things first, what are we drawing? I picked a banana, super simple shape, simple forms. Forms are super important, and shapes when you're drawing, so forms and shapes for solid drawing. So let's look for clear reference images, clear contrast, nothing blurry. We can easily see the shapes like this one. We're just going to right click and copy, then head over into Photoshop. I use a 3000 by 1500 pixels canvas because I like to pack in my images for my references and get all of the nuance of what I'm drawing. So just throw in a quick name, whatever you want. I used banana ref board. So then we're just going to Control V, copy paste it in. Sorry for the lag. I am video editing on a budget. So it's Control T after you paste it in to resize it however you want. You can size the images however you want depending on, their importance to you in your process. I tend to make most of mine kind of small and zoom in later so that I can pack more images in. Not this image. It is very unnatural and hideous looking, probably CG. No offense to the creator, I just don't like it for a reference. So I'm looking for good shapes. This isn't bad, it's got good contrast, but it's mostly about surface texture and color, which I'm not doing right now. I'm doing forms and shapes. So a lot of this is, there's some cartoon versions here, some blurred out stuff, looking for good contrast and shapes. Here's one, nice contrast with the pink, and we can start to see the form of the peel. The banana's got two forms, the banana fruit and the peel. So we paste that in, same thing, Control V to paste, Control T to transform. Make it any size you want. And at this point it's good to save because, you don't want to lose however many minutes, 2 minutes to 2 hours worth of work if your computer crashes or your power goes out. So now I'm just going to walk you guys through the rest of this process. I usually fill up the entire canvas so that when I get started studying my subject and drawing or trying to design, I don't have to go looking for more reference, usually. When it's a simple shape like this, simple forms, that's easier to do. When it's character design, not so much. But for the simple stuff, this is usually good enough. Just the one canvas full of images. So I'm still doing the same thing here. I'm looking for images that have a good illustration or a good example of the forms from different views whenever possible. And if it's not possible, sometimes you have to kind of extrapolate from what you got. But for a banana, it's not too bad. So we've got some sort of front side view, sort of front 3/4 view. This one's good contrast, so we're getting a back view and a front view, along with the information about the peel. Very important because the banana is the solid part of the whole banana form. The peel is floppy without it, which is why we need references for both. This particular reference board is going to be used to help me with my How to Draw a Banana article. So I thought it would be good to show you guys how I make these references, because in all of my How to Draw articles, I reference how to create references without actually going into how to do that. So I thought I should probably go into how to do that in case there were questions. So this is another good one. It's showing the peel, profile view. We get the form, solid form of the banana fruit itself, and some good information about the flexibility of the peel form. So I'm just going to keep going through and picking these different references, trying to get different views, different examples of the banana and the peel. Pretty simple with this because the banana is basically a cylinder, a curvy cylinder, and the peel is a little bit more complex, but they're basically wobbly, flexy planes. So this one is good because when we're doing forms, it's good to know how to dissect the forms. So we can cut into them and put other things in them or coming out of them. But if we don't know what it looks like inside, that's not as helpful. So dissection ones, this one is bananas sliced bananas. So now we know what it's like when you slice it perpendicular to the form. So we can draw the inside of that. And the next one we're going to look for along the form, parallel to the form when you slice down, like if you're slicing down the middle. So we're just about full on this canvas. I don't bother to try to make it totally symmetrical because that's a waste of your time. And you just need the information, not to make the reference board look pretty. You make your art look pretty. Now this one's good because it is the banana fruit slices without the peel. So this is a good example of a helpful reference image that doesn't fit with the limited real estate left on the canvas. So what I'm going to do here is move it around, make it a little bigger. And I'm going to go through how to show you guys to fix that. So the first thing is make sure you know which layer you need to adjust and select it. We only need this plate area right here. We don't need the fork or the countertop. So I'm just going to use a selection tool. It's the rectangular marquee tool. There's more than one way to do this, but I'm doing it the long but easy to explain way without all the keyboard shortcuts. So instead of selecting the whole thing, I'm going to select just the parts I don't need. The countertop, going to click delete, Control D to deselect, select another part I don't need, hit delete, and Control D to deselect, and do that all the way around the image so that I get rid of all the bits that I don't need. You can also use the lasso tool to do this, but if it's very symmetrical, it's easier to use the rectangular marquee tool. So sometimes I cover up parts of the images, especially with that group of bananas in the corner. I don't really need to see the whole thing. So I'll just move this a little bit over the top of some of those. And there you go. That is a pretty full reference board. Usually I will fill in that last little bit of space if I find some other images, but I don't think we need it for this. As always, you can zoom in on your image, so that's why you don't need to make every single reference image that you find super huge. You can zoom in and out, click, click, click to zoom in one bit at a time, drag as you click to zoom in and out a little bit more smoothly. And the drag it around when you're zoomed in is just the hand tool. Also, some people don't want to use Photoshop or they don't have it. So Microsoft Paint 3D is another way to do this. Same thing, Control V to paste it in. It does not bind your dimensions, so you got to hold Shift and then drag it where you want it. Control V, don't worry, I won't do the whole page on this one too. But the second one is here, Control V to paste it in. Again, you're going to have to hold Shift. No layers in 3D Paint, so don't put your images on top of each other. So we're going to move this into place. Now, when you deselect, you just click away. But when you want to select it again, you already have this selection tool picked, but it won't just pick the thing because, you know, no layers as far as I can tell. So you have to select the whole thing, and it basically just cuts it out and moves it around to wherever you want it. If you don't select the entire thing, you get an oops. So select the entire image, unless you don't want the entire image, and move it around wherever you want it. So that is basically how I make my reference boards. This one is pretty simple. They can get more robust, but the process is mostly the same. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, or a share. And of course, I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel. Take care, stay safe, and happy drawing.